Hello friends, and welcome back to the Mothership. Today we are smoking up our very own burger stuffed onion rings wrapped in bacon. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing that I want to do here is take our onion and cut it into about 1-inch strips. So I'm just going to pull the ends off real quick. And then I'm going to just cut about 1 inch here. There we go. If you can find bigger onions, that would be ideal. These are about the biggest ones I could find at my grocery store. So I'm just going to take off the skin here and then pop out the very, very middle section that I am not going to use. Perfect. Now, the goal here is to take one of these onion rings, fill it up with basically as much ground beef as we can, and then put another one inside just like so. So that'll have 2 layers of onion with burger on the outside, and then wrap the whole thing in bacon. Now I need to make sure that the hole obviously is big enough to fit bacon, so that piece was a little small. The best ones you're gonna get are the middle section. So the middle section, oh shoot, I broke one. That's not great. So the middle section, if we can keep it from breaking one, that looks about perfect. And then if I can get a very small center section, something like so, that's about perfect. Now I have 2 onions. I'm going to kind of mix and match using some of one and some of the other. But I would say 2 onions can probably get you all that you need to for a pound of ground beef, or in our case, ground brisket. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one, just cut it into 1-inch strips. Okay, all these onion pieces have been separated. Now let's take care of our meat. This is about a pound of ground brisket. This one I'm going to use to make my burgers. You could obviously use just ground beef or whatever type of ground meat you want to use. I'm going to go with brisket because I have lots and lots of ground brisket. But standard burger stuff, I'm just going to go in with some kosher salt, black pepper, some cheddar cheese that I shredded up, and a little bit of garlic. Obviously don't need to do onion powder because he's going to be wrapped in onions. Then I'm just going to give this a nice mix together. A nice rough mix is fine. It's time to assemble these suckers. So basically what we want to do is we want to take one of our rings. We want to just start to pack in some of our ground beef kind of along the edge of the ring, like so. And then take another one of our rings and just kind of fit it into the center. And then just take off any of the excess that's going to cause a problem. But it doesn't need to be perfect, but something like that looks pretty darn good to me. And then I'm going to continue and fill up all the other ones with the remaining beef that I have. And for our last step in assembling these things, we need to get our bacon going. Now, like every other bacon wrapped thing, you want to go for the thinnest bacon you can find. This is not going to be the great thick cut stuff that we know and love for breakfast. You really want to get the stuff that's honestly probably on the lower quality end. It'll help it cook more evenly, and you won't end up with your insides not being cooked while your outside is overly cooked, or vice versa. So now what we want to do is just wrap these in our bacon. I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 strips per ring, but we shall see. Alright, these are all completed. And I have to say that the larger ones are a heck of a lot easier than the smaller ones. So it might be worth it to just spend the extra buck or whatever and get another onion and make some bigger ones rather than trying to use the smaller parts of the onion. But these are completed, which means that it is now time to get our smoker up to temperature. I'm looking at about 250 for these. While we get our smoker up to temperature, let's make ourselves a really good burger sauce. This is a Big Mac style sauce, and honestly, I made it once before, and we can't stop having it on our burgers. So you guys definitely need to give this one a try. But our base is going to be mayonnaise, some relish, some regular tomato ketchup, and the only correct answer is Heinz, I'm sorry. Some yellow mustard, apple cider vinegar for some acidity, paprika, kosher salt, garlic powder, and lastly onion powder. Then we just give it a nice mixy and give it a taste test. That's good. Now if you use like a dill style relish and not a sweet one, you want to add sugar in here. But since we use sweet relish, this is perfect. I'm just gonna put it in the fridge and leave it until we're ready to dunk it. All right guys, these are now off the smoker, and I wanted to show you what I was going to do out there with temperatures and stuff, but I'll be honest, as soon as I said I was going to get the smoker up to temp, it started to rain. And by the time I actually put these onto the smoker, we were at torrential downpour. So it's still raining really hard out there, and I wasn't gonna destroy my camera just to show you what we're working with. But essentially, I had them on the smoker at 250 for about an hour, and then I bumped the temperature up to about 400 to really crisp up the bacon. Pulled them, they're looking great. Using the ground brisket instead of your regular ground beef probably is a better idea in this scenario because we are gonna let them run a little bit longer just to get that bacon nice and crispy. So hopefully the bacon gets to its crispy point and your ground beef is not gonna be overly dry, which is where that brisket comes in. We all know brisket can take a little bit more heat, right? So without further ado, it is time to give these the old-fashioned chomp and make sure that what we did was worth it. Now the magic of these suckers would be to eat them as a finger food, but they are extremely hot, so I don't want to burn my hands. But we have some of our burger sauce here. Give it a nice dip. And delightful. The burger sauce is really good. Bacon has gotten nice and crispy. It's brisket, so you know it's gonna be good. Probably could add a little more cheese in there, if I'm being honest. But you know what? This is a really good one. And if for some reason you are on like a keto diet where you can't have carbs, guess what? This one works for you. I'm not, so not a problem. But these are delightful. You know, I saw these on the interwebs a while ago as one of those kind of viral things, and I was interested if they're actually worth making. And they really are. You could make a bunch of these, put them aside, have them as an appetizer or as like a finger food at your next barbecue. You should give them a try. You absolutely need to make this burger sauce though, because like I said, when we made it once before, it's become a staple in this house. Either way, guys, let me know if you give these a try and if you like them. Please give me a subscription down below. It really makes me feel super warm and fuzzy inside. And most importantly, cook something fantastic. And I'll catch you guys in the next cook.